Welcome to Beefy Boys Breakdown. We're going to be recapping UFC 304 from Manchester, headlined by Edwards and Muhammad, the rematch for the welterweight strap. How you doing, my friend?
I'm good, man. I'm doing good. Well, I say that, but like I whiffed on all my bets. It was dog shit for me at the book. Shout out to you hitting three-leg method of victory prop to get
Felt
to
good. Felt
stay
good.
even. I mean, that's
Yeah,
nice.
to break even. Break even. Every real gambler know breaking even. You think winning a bunch of money is the best feeling in gambling? Breaking even is the best feeling in gambling.
You know what was so weird though, and why I guess I answered good is because like I like some of the fighters that got big wins last night a lot. So it was like even though I lost money, like I got to see guys win that I like, and I didn't really have a dog in the main event. So
Yeah, no, for sure, man. Yeah, we'll start off with this welterweight title, man, and new, man. Belal Muhammad is champion of the world. I mean, feels very similar to when Sean Strickland won the belt. Just like guys that over the past, say, 3 years, I never really viewed as like future champion. Like if Tatiana Suarez wins the belt, everybody's gonna be like, yeah, like that's been projected for years and years and
right.
years. When Sean O'Malley won the belt, it kind of felt like we had seen that like on that trajectory. When Sean Strickland and Belal Muhammad, I think there's some parallel there as far as how I woke up feeling like, damn, did I have that on my bingo card?
I couldn't agree more. And to be quite honest with you, they did it in similar fashions. They like put the champion, who's a great striker, on their back foot in striking, and then were able to like essentially. I mean, Bilal did it in a more mixed martial arts way than Strickland, but same idea, right? Like pressure fight, put his back on the fence where he can't move left and right, and just pepper him. And I thought Bilal looked faster than Leon.
He looked fast. He looked like he wanted it more. He looked. I mean, let's get into the kind of X's and O's because the
Oh,
scorecards matter as well.
have you seen how we get some of these scorecards? By the way, like, have you seen what rounds get scored what?
Yes, I have, and it's
It's
very interesting. So I want to talk
unbelievable.
about it on the pod. Like, very combine all the scorecards. Leon won 3 rounds.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah,
dude, like Derek Cleary is drunk off his ass. It was
I
5:40 in the morning, and he didn't know what he was seeing.
I had a Leon Edwards. Well, we both had a Leon Edwards by decision prop ticket, straight bet plus 100. Or I think we might have got it at plus 105. And I was like, are the gambling gods going to fuck Bilal here for us? It's like I didn't think so. But then Bisping started talking. And I was like, I mean, we see
Dude,
scorecards we disagree with all the time. I was like, is this going to be one? So,
did
yeah,
you
let's go round by round.
did you
All right, but go
notice?
ahead.
Did you notice when Bisping started talking about I don't know, Leon could have won the first? DC shut that shit down immediately. Like he was like, how? Bilal Muhammad landed as many strikes and had 2 takedowns. Like he was like, fuck that. Which
But yeah, when after the fight ended and Bisping, like you were saying, was saying how maybe Leon won round one, and maybe the scorecards could be a little squirrely. And then DC was like, how would you say that he won round one? I agree with that, man. And we'll get to our scorecards here. Really don't get how you give round one to Leon, and that's somebody who had a Leon by decision ticket saying that. Like I don't even have the word close in my notes. Like, I thought it was a very
no,
easy round to score.
in fact, I have dominant round for Bilal in my notes. In my opinion, the way that I thought this fight was going to look, like to me, that was a dominant Bilal round. Like if every round in the fight looks like that, that's great for Bilal.
Two big slam, like high crotch takedowns, and then which was like a theme of all the night. He had that high crotch slam. Even at one point, he slammed him on his head. Um, he got some ground and pound in, not the most ground and pound, but also not no ground and pound. And then I have in my notes, you can tell this was like shocking to me, like just by how I phrased this in my notes. I was like, Bilal's holding his own on his feet. He's like
Yeah,
nobody. I don't think anybody expected that. We were laughing all week. Everybody was clowning the whole box like Canelo coach's quote or whatever. And I'm not even saying he boxed like Canelo. I don't really watch boxing. I don't. But like, I mean, he was equal to, if not better than Leon on the feet. I mean, by the end of the fight, it was clear that he
yeah.
was better on the feet.
I mean,
At least that night.
outstruck him on the feet, 100 like no numerically, and in total strikes when you count ground strikes, outstruck him by over 100.
Yeah, no, for sure. And man, some of those uppercuts that Bilal was getting in there were fucking nice. I'll say Leon's chin was good. Like he never once was like wobbled really or anything. Like he was.
No, and I think a lot of Bilal's shots were more of like distance and damage. Like because if you notice, Leon's face wasn't like that beat up. Like the shots were landing
No.
hard. It was more like keeping Leon off of the rhythm and like keeping the timing broken for him to where Belal could get the entries he wanted.
Yeah, Bilal's entries were perfect all night. I mean, round 2 looked pretty similar to round 1. Got 3 takedowns. Round 2 is where he slams him on his head. That was actually really scary. Like that
Crazy
could have been
slam.
bad.
Like Leon looked like it hurt him a little bit.
It had to have. Like, I mean, he's lucky he didn't paralyze him. I mean,
You know what it
seriously.
looked like? You know what those takedowns looked like? They looked identical to two guys. Like as soon as I saw him hit the single leg split, like just the crotch lift, it's DC and Khabib. It's the other two guys that do that. And guess who Belal had in his camp this. What am I trying to say here? This training camp, he was coached by Khabib. And you know what else I thought? Yeah. There's another guy that's super happy about this result for Belal. Sean Brady. Because how much shit were we talking about Sean Brady whenever Belal smoked him? And now it's like, that's not that bad of a deal. And then as well, I just wanted to say for Belal, he also, the first time he fought Leon, had Saif Saud as his coach because he had to. He couldn't bring his coaches because they had COVID. And it was like, they couldn't come. So he had to get coached by Saif Saud. So the curse of Saif Saud is real. And then he also got a dietitian, Ian Larios, who's like legitimately famous for being as good at dietitian or nutrition as he is. So like Belal changed everything up in 4 years, and you can tell how much of a difference it's made.
Yeah, no, and this is really like hindsight 2020. Like Belal having to wait so long for his title shot, like ended up being a blessing in disguise. You know what I mean? Like he was able to get better. He was able to invest more in his camp and his body and all that. It was really kind of crazy how that all worked out for him. Keeping it pushing to round 3, very snoozy round.
There is a judge that scores round 1 for Belal, just for people at home. Derek Cleary.
There is.
Which is just unbelievable.
Scores it for Leon.
Yes, I'm sorry. Scores it for Leon. Yes. But pushing round 2, another dominant round for Muhammad. I thought more dominant.
Yeah, that's the round where 3 takedowns, slams him on his head, a little more ground and pound. Now, round 3 is the Leon round where he just kind of snoozily had his back for like 4 minutes. I mean, not zero damage, really. And really, I mean, I guess he was threatening rear naked chokes, but Belal defended it perfectly. It was nothing gotten close. It was 4 minutes of back control, which is weird when they're like the most dominant Leon round. Like that doesn't even sound like I'm describing a Leon Edwards round. You know what I mean?
Right. Totally understand, especially against Belal. Like that's crazy to say. And then you keep it pushing around 4. Me as a Leon by decision bettor, I was like, oh, we got some life, we got some juice. It's 2-1 now.
Yep.
And then Belal shut that shit down in the 4th. Continued to get back to the game plan, dominate Leon still more. I mean, striking was looking crisper and crisper, I thought, as the fight went on, which was that was honestly blowing me away.
Well, in round 4 is whenever Belal took Leon's back, so it was almost like a mirror. Like Leon had his back most of round 3, Belal had his back more than most of round 4. It was just like anything you can do, I can do better type vibe. And then round 5 was very close, and this is really the only round I thought that was like murky to score.
I think very debatable round. Very debatable round.
Because Belal won like 4 minutes of the round, and then at the last minute, Leon gets a reversal and starts dropping big elbows. The
Huge.
First one
broke his nose and split his nose open. Not only did it split him, it broke it. Because if you listen to him after the fight, like you can tell it's a broken nose.
Sure. And so I scored it to Leon, man.
I did too. That's a crazy. If he did that on the feet, it would have dropped Belal. I almost could guarantee if that elbow landed standing, like Belal would have gotten dropped. I don't think it finishes him, but I'm just saying because he's already on his back, we're saying that elbow is not as impactful. Like I don't think so.
Well, to me, it's more so about what Belal didn't do as opposed to what Leon did. Like
exactly.
Belal scored literally 0 damage that round. So, like, damage is the number 1 criteria. At least that's what we've been told, right? So it's just like I feel like not scoring the round for Leon is almost like hypocritical to the rule set. Now, Big John McCarthy on his podcast will say, like, there's no way you can score that round to Leon.
Yeah, I heard that. That's crazy to me. Because of damage,
I don't love that.
And he made a criteria or an argument for damage earlier in that discussion of this fight, which was absurd to me. Like you can't be talking about damage in one round and then exclude it in another. That makes no sense.
Because it was big damage, bro. Like you said, it was big damage. Like if it would have been a little cut over the eyebrow, or just I don't know, maybe no cut at all, or I don't know, like was super damaging. Like just like on like eye test, like blood everywhere, bounced his head off the canvas. I mean, if close to finishing is really the right term to use, but like, Josh Thompson brought it up. Like, if that round's a minute longer, who knows what it looks like?
I couldn't agree more because Leon was doing serious work at the end, and like that was like the only time I saw Leon actually fight like he realized he could lose the fight. You know what I mean?
Exactly, brother. So I ended up with 48-47 Muhammad, with Muhammad winning 1, 2, and 4 pretty comfortably. And but I think he goes to say, even as a guy who gave Leon 2 rounds were very close or very snoozy, and Belal's rounds that he won was like very clearly dominantly won.
Yeah, so, I mean, I thought 3 was pretty dominant for Leon in the same sense that Belal was. If Belal's dominant in 4, then Leon's dominant in 3, if that makes sense.
I guess my point, which I don't disagree with your point, I think both can be true, but Leon didn't have any 1s or 2s, like round 1 and round 2. You know what I mean? True. Yeah. So that's what I meant there. Like the rounds where Muhammad looked good, he looked really fucking good, and the rounds where Leon looked good, he kind of still looked bad.
Like, yeah, he looked like off-brand Leon even when he was winning rounds, which was like, this is so weird. Like, to see him win a round with ground and pound elbows and a round with back control, I've never said that about Leon Edwards in my life before, ever.
For sure, bro. So I dropped Leon Edwards below Ian Gary, and maybe it was a bad night at the office.
Interesting. I do think it was, man. I think fighting at 5:30 a.m., and he lives there. So it wasn't like
it's Tom Aspinall, bro. That's where it gets weird. I know everybody's different.
Did you hear what Tom Aspinall did?
Yeah, and that's more proof that like
he's a psycho. He just stayed up 24 hours. He just said, "I'm just gonna sleep regular. I don't give a shit." He's a psycho.
Figure it out, man. Figure it out. Be a champion, man.
I think, and this will be like when we do keep it pushing. Tom Aspinall is cut from a different cloth of human being, not only like fighter, but like. He's like Tank. He's like Tank Abbott. Like I think he legitimately just wants to fight. He suggested they go back to the old school 4-man tournament, 2 fights in a night, and he wanted to have Jones, Stipe, and Pereira in it.
Yeah, I know. I watched it, and then I had to go change my shorts.
I was like, same. Like it couldn't have won me more as a fan. Where I was like, this guy just loves this shit. But yes, to your point about Leon. Yeah.
So I dropped him to 4. I haven't. Obviously, you can't drop him below Kamaru, I have Kamaru at 5, Leon at 4, and I'm getting Gary at 3. Like from what I saw, man. From what I saw, Leon don't want the Ian Gary smoke. Now that is if Ian Gary fights like he did against Magny and Neal. If Ian Gary fights like he did against Michael Vick and Page, I think so. That's what's weird about that, like kind of hypothetical matchup, is that Gary and Leon are both coming off of like. Kind of left bad tastes in our mouth, like had kind of bad performances to where I don't like. I mean, this is going to sound like Captain Obvious. If a good Ian shows up and a bad Leon shows up, Ian wins. Vice versa, but I think if best versions of both guys show up, I like Gary still.
I think if best versions show up, I like Leon because Gary's not getting those takedowns. I don't think he has near as good of a takedown offense as Belal. It's a lot different too. Like. Ian Gary's a lot more like trips and anaconda style takedown.
See, I'm not even thinking about the ground. I'm talking about on the feet. I think
Leon when Leon's on, he is a really great striker.
I was thinking about this last night, and we're spending a lot of time on this, but it is the main event, so fuck it. And then the next one's not going to take much time. Truly. But like, I was thinking about this last night. When was the last good Leon performance? And I'm not even trying to be a dick here. Like, don't tell me the Kamaru fight. Tell me the second
Kamaru fight.
Well, I think he won. Did he win 3 rounds of that one? I think, like, and it was like, kind of snoozy.
I think he won 50-45 in the second fight.
All right, now maybe it was that one, but like, still, I don't like the first Kamaru fight. He lost like 95% of that fight. The Colby fight sucked. He looked like shit in this. So I'm saying, all right, even if I listen to you, best case scenario. And then he almost fumbled the Nate Diaz fight at the end.
I know.
So, like, literally 1 out of his last 5 fights where he, like, looked good. So that's what I'm saying. Like, what is a real Leon or what is the good Leon? Like, out of his past 5 fights, 4 of them he's like looked good at best.
Yeah, and to your point about the Ian Gary Leon matchup, Ian Gary left Leon's gym because of like they had the feud before Ian Gary's last fight, where Leon was like, if you get too close to challenging for a belt, like you can't train here, and they essentially kicked him out. Well, now none of that matters, but they brought that up to Dana in the presser, and they're like, so what do you think about Leon versus Gary? And he was like, I had not thought about it, but now after hearing you tell me that story, I like it a lot. Sounds like that's next.
See. That's what I want to see. That's what the fuck I want to see.
Sounds like that's next.
Headline in arena or
that'll like probably be December.
Fight night.
I'll say December. I'll say Leon takes some time and they fight near the end of the year, like early December or the New Year's card.
And then that means Shavkat Belal. Belal's already said he would do it. Belal. See, this is where
I like Belal's mentality here. I love it.
This is what I think is going to dictate how much we end up liking Belal. Remember when Kamaru first won the belt? Nobody liked him. He was boring. But then he was super active and fought all the guys, and he won us over. So I think that's Belal's path to like winning over the masses.
Yes.
Because everybody on MMA Twitter is all mad that Belal's champion. But if Belal fights like Shavkat, Gary, Brady, or Jack Della, or Michael Page, or whoever the fuck, say he fights every 6 months or defends the belt 3 times in a year on some Izzy shit, people will come around.
Couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. With that all said, I say we keep it pushing because,
let's keep it pushing.
To be honest, man, and this could be a hot take, Tom Aspinall has dethroned Yuri Prohaska as my favorite fighter.
Oh, I mean, I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
I know, but like, dude, the character of that is Tom Aspinall, like what he's built from, fuck the fighting style. Like he's just so down.
So down. He's super electric in the cage. He's humble out of the cage, but still funny. Not boring humble. Like humble can be boring.
Realistic. Like he's just so realistic at all times. He's just real. Like he just seems like a real
he's got a sense
guy.
Of humor. He's got a sense of humor. Yeah, and he passes the like, do I want to have a beer with this guy test? You know what I'm saying? Checks that box 1,000 times.
Checks it literally 1,000 times over to the point where like he was talking about like, yeah, I thought about having to like be working at 5 a.m. and he was like, and I thought of all my mates that work 4 a.m. to 4 p.m. 4 days a week for 40 years, and he was like, I can do it once for 25 minutes.
Yep.
And it only ends up taking 1 minute.
1 minute on the nose, brother. I had an Aspinall by KO on my 3-leg method, a big 3 parlay at -190. So like even Vegas was telling you this was going to happen.
Did you
see the -190?
Did you see the odds jump on Aspinall by KO from round 1 to 2?
No, I didn't.
So Aspinall by KO round 1, I think was like +150, and then round 2 was like +900.
Wow. So like everybody knew that. Bro, yeah, like Curtis Blaydes is just not he can't go with power strikers, and guess what? That's a real problem at heavyweight. Like, think about it. He beat Johnson Almeida, who's not a power striker. Like,
everyone's talking about it now, and they're having like the revelation. I think we've been on this Aspinall as the best like hands in the heavyweight division for years now. For years,
literally years. Like actual, like calendar years. Yeah.
Like I remember when he made his debut, and I was saying, bet your house on this guy. He used to spar with Tyson Fury for his boxing training.
Yeah, and we view him as a striker, but like by trade, he's a jiu-jitsu
guy. But nobody like that's the thing is like for Curtis Blaydes, they talked about like, does he even want to get a takedown? And it's like he has to. He can't stand and strike with him. I think it muddied the waters in Curtis Blaydes' own mind of like, how do I fight this guy? And I think their first fight, he felt like he was tagging him with some strikes, and he had some confidence that shouldn't have been there.
Man, this is going to sound like hyperbole, but I swear to God, this is like a true story. Right before the fight, they're about to like walk out. They're in the back showing Curtis Blaydes like shadow box. It was maybe the worst shadow boxing I've ever seen. And I know it's not the end-all be-all. It was so unbelievably bad. Like, guys at the 24-hour fitness can, like, shadow box better. Like, and I was just like, oh, this guy can't go with Tom Aspinall. Like, I was just like seriously. Like, I'm not – it's going to sound – maybe that's a casual take. Or I don't know how it even sounds. But, like, I was at home watching my TV, and I was just like, oh, yeah, that's not going to be what beats Aspinall. Like, it was the worst shadow boxing of all time.
Yeah, Aspinall is and man, people are maybe being a little hot take-ish about it, talking about how he has a chance to be an all-time great already, blah, blah, blah. I don't know about all
No, he
that.
does. I do.
I mean,
I do. Why? What would prevent that?
sure, he has a chance, but I'm just saying, like, we never know. Like, let's let him get 7 more high-profile wins before we even start talking about that. That's a lot of wins. Like, we're a long way away. Like, this is LeBron James hitting 15,000 points at 25 years old or whatever. Like, yeah, he's on pace to get it, and yes, he did get it, but not everyone keeps that pace.
That's the right metaphor to make, or like a Shohei Ohtani, or like
he's great, but it's like, does he go Barry Sanders and just kind of fold the cards early because he's just good on it, or does he go for the longevity records and chase those actual titles?
Either way, he'll be the best heavyweight of this era, like, for sure. I would bet my left nut on it. Maybe not all time, but it's also kind of a backhanded compliment because this is like the weakest era of heavyweight. But
I know
the post DC, like the post DC heavyweight era, like he's basically already the GOAT of that, in my opinion. Which, like I said, maybe it's a backhanded compliment. But like heavyweight back in the day was good. The Randy Couture's of the world, some big.
I mean,
a lot of people always start off
Kane,
Fedor.
JDS, like, I mean, even that era of heavyweight was fire. You know what I mean? Like the 2010, 2013 kind of heavyweight was great then. It was kind of waned from like 13 to 17, and it's just been terrible since. And now we're getting guys like Aspinall that are kind of adding some life back to it. But I'll say the problem with him adding life back to it, he's so much better than everyone else that's not maybe John Jones.
So here, we haven't even talked about the actual fight real quick. We'll take Leroy, drops him with a 1-2 down the pipe, finishes him off with ground and pound. I saw some people on X say that this was an early stoppage, and I don't think it was.
Not an early stoppage because Curtis Blaydes does not defend himself intelligently at any point. He just lays there and keeps eating shots. And Aspinall addressed this as well. They said, a lot of people say it's an early stoppage, and he said, who's saying that? And they kind of alluded to Twitter, and he said, are they stupid? Do they realize I'm 250 pounds, I'm on top of him, and I hit him 8 times in the head with no response?
That's what I'm saying. Like, maybe if this is women's strawweight, that's an early stoppage. But with Tom Aspinall doming you.
Yeah, he brought up a good point, which he was like, are we not supposed to protect our athletes as an organization and as a commission? Because, like, I'm not going to stop until they stop me, and I think it's good they stopped me when they did, is essentially what he said.
Like, I don't understand how you could both simultaneously think this was an early stoppage and Bobby Green was a late stoppage. Talking about Jalen Turner. You know what I'm saying? Like that's basically what you're asking for. Like, you can't hold those, like, opinions, like, simultaneously. Like, if Jalen Turner, Bobby Green is bad, then Tom Aspinall, Curtis Blaydes is good. Like, I don't know. I'm cool with it. Fantastic knockout. But it's funny that you brought up, like, Aspinall and Jones. I had to do something different in my power rankings. I had to create like an elite tier. It's literally it's Aspinall and Jones. Like, you can't lump that in with the top 5. It's a different.
They're just different. Like, they literally are standing in like a pantheon of like legitimately great skill sets.
Like, I don't even want to. I mean, I see, and this is where it's going to be hard for Aspinall too. Is going to be getting fights. Like, does he sit out for 18 months?
He won't.
Minus Cyril gone for like absolutely no reason. A Jonathan Almeida for absolutely no reason. I mean, you cash a paycheck and you headline a show, and you know that's awesome. Like,
and he got $100,000 bonus.
Like
for this, so extra $100,000 on that. And I think in England the taxes are not as bad as what Paddy was saying.
No, but see, I think last night wasn't pointless. Last night was awesome. Like, last night leapfrogged him ahead of John Jones. Like, there was something on that.
I'll say
he defended
this:
his belt before John did.
100%. And he made a good point whenever they asked him, "Would you be willing to be the replacement fighter for Stipe and Jones in November?" And he was like, "Yeah, obviously." And he was like, "In fact, I would assume one of them is going to get injured because look at their history." So he was like, "I'll be happy to fight either of them." And that that mentality, that's why I like him. That's why I think he'll be great continuously. And also why I don't think he'll sit and be inactive. I think he's going to just he wants to fight.
Yes, and my point is, like, I'm conflicted here because I love watching Tom Aspinall fight, but any fight that Tom Aspinall takes that's not against Stipe or Jones or a title unifier, is like by definition pointless. But like I said, like I mean, when the guy just likes to fight. I mean, what are you gonna do? You're gonna trot out Cyril Gane and just nuke any value he still has to the company? Are you gonna trot out? I mean, the most unnecessary rematch of all time.
Oh, he did fucking submit the shit out of Volkov after dropping him. You're so right. Yeah, he's beaten all these guys.
All of them.
The only guy you can give him is Cyril Gane. And Cyril Gane literally ran from Aspinall. Like, he's already been offered that fight and said, I'm on vacation. And Aspinall laughed about that, which, once again, love the character.
Johnson made it, but he's coming off the loss. So
Marcin Tybura, like...
Tybura has a main event coming up.
We're in a bad spot. We're in a bad spot right now.
Well, it's like we're in a bad spot, but we also like Aspinall's the motherfucking man. But I don't know. You want to keep it pushing to fucking Tom Aspinall? He said got a bonus last night, well deserved, obviously. But yeah, up next we got Paddy Pimblett taking on Bobby King Green, and this is Paddy's shot to get in the rankings. We were pretty much non-committal on this one. We thought it was like a coin flip, but hey, even that take was wrong. Like, this was not a coin flip.
No, Paddy looked way better than Bobby Green. I think both on the feet and immediately when Bobby Green shot a takedown because he was losing on the feet, he got instantly submitted because Paddy is a better grappler than a striker. It's the Aspinall thing all over again.
Yeah, and everybody's been talking about how much bigger than Bobby Green Paddy looked, and he did. It's just crazy. I've never really considered Paddy like a big lightweight. But
well, he for sure is, though. You know, I mean, if he can get to 215 or whatever outside of the fights, he has to be able to, like, his frame has to be big to carry that much weight.
No, you're 1,000% right. You're 1,000% right. And yeah, but you know, they were kind of just kicking each other in the leg. But Bobby Green could not close that distance.
Right.
Couldn't land anything significant. Made the world's dumbest decision to shoot a sloppy double leg. Paddy jumps Gilly, but then like transitions from the Gilly to the triangle,
which was sick. And then to armbar once Bobby Green's literally like blacking out, and then essentially breaks his elbow while he's asleep. Which I'm hoping, since Bobby Green was asleep, his like arm loosened, and that like that's not a serious arm injury.
Yeah, I couldn't really get it because usually you can tell when the arm goes because the guy's awake and he's grabbing it and it's like flopping around. But when Bobby Green's unconscious, it was like impossible to tell.
That was one where I actually thought like this is a late stoppage. If there was any late stoppage on the card, it was this one. I'm not going to say it's a late stoppage, but this is the only one I would have heard an argument for.
Well, no. Big John went in on.
Well, the ref needed to be way closer when that triangle's been locked in for 25 seconds. Like, he needs to be checking hands a lot more often.
Yeah, he didn't check the hands at all. Probably because Paddy was grabbing it. But hey, guess what? Humans have two arms.
Right.
And then also, but when Big John mentioned something really cool on his podcast, it's really cool getting this perspective of it. Like, he said that like what it looked like to him was that the ref was looking at Bobby Green's face to see if he passed out. And Bobby Green wasn't really, like, his facial expression didn't change. But he said basically, to make the metaphor, like the ref should have zoomed out and looked at Bobby's whole body.
Yeah, right.
Like yes.
I couldn't agree more because his legs just, like, sink down and, like, knees go straight. You know what I'm saying? Like, locked down, like, no more pressure on the palms of his feet.
Like, tunnel vision on Bobby Green's face and didn't, like, see the whole rest of his body go limp. And John said he's done that before, but it's like, you know, it's something to learn from. But yeah, Bobby Green, dude, refs stop his fights late, like, every time. Bro, it's so brutal.
He gets savage harder than anyone else whenever he gets finished. Like, his finishes are brutal.
Bobby Green, man, though, I mean, I think it's safe to say he's basically cooked, right? Like, you know, like, typically you don't see fighters, like, go on to, like, put on great performances after two finishes. Like, the Jalen Turner and this one, I guess Grant Dawson was in between those two, I think.
I think what we see for Bobby Green right now is like a Tony Ferguson level slide. However, he won't get the same opponents that Tony was getting, so he might still be able to, you know, get a win here, but probably lose. Like, I would say in his next four, if he has four more, 1-3 or 2-2 is probably best options here. Like, I just think moving forward, he's aging and skill set's declining, whereas these other guys at lightweight, killers.
And something I never had to really think of. He's small. He's small for the weight class.
Yeah, he doesn't like to cut a lot of weight.
So yeah, man, it's not looking good for. He's 37 years old. So,
Also,
yeah,
Paddy got a double bonus for this.
yeah, which I thought was interesting, but I don't hate it. I guess I'm kind of neutral on it. Like, definitely deserved a bonus. I don't know. I thought Aspinall's win was better than this win. I don't.
Do you know what I think it was? I think it had everything to do with Dana was so mad about the 7 decisions in a row. I mean, he talked about it no less than 7 times whenever he was interviewing on his post-fight, or at the post-fight press conference. But I think because Paddy came out, got the crowd unbelievably lit, lived up to the hype, submitted Bobby, I mean, did it in fantastic fashion, took no damage. I don't know. It was like the star of the show showed up. And Dana was like, thank you. It was almost like a thank you bonus. Like, here's $100,000 for your performance. Here's $100,000 for thank you.
Yeah, and Paddy sold a lot of those tickets. A lot of those asses in those seats were there to see Paddy for sure, business-wise. And you know what? Like, I got to say, man, yes, I'm a Paddy believer now. He's still, here's the box. There's still a box he hasn't checked. And it's like, it's starting to feel like a Jake Paul situation where, like, he still hasn't really be a guy in his prime, right? Like
I fully agree. Kind of they're staging fights for him that are just like the Jared Gordon fight should have been a good fight for him. He just fucked it off. But
if he was to go out and beat a Zell Huber, an Oralby, he called out Moicano. If he beats Moicano.
Did you hear his idea? Not only did he call it Moicano, he suggested they'd be the next coaches of the Ultimate Fighter, and I'm in because they're so funny.
Good?
They're so funny. I would 100% not miss an episode. Those two are so funny.
Alexa Grasso's cool, but she is so boring on Ultimate Fighter.
And Valentina's just Type A personality, so I'm just just trying to watch her. I'm not really trying to listen to the words.
No, yeah, it's not entertaining. It's really not. This season is kind of garbage, but yeah, that'd be way more entertaining than this season. So I'm here for it as well. Yeah, that'd be cool. And I think if he beats Moicano, then okay, I don't know. I'm borderline. I did move Paddy to 11 in my rankings though. I had to kind of.
I mean, you know what I mean?
I think he beats a Hooker and a Frivola and an Oralby.
I think Hooker is a great fight. I think he beats Frivola. I think he beats Oralby. I think right around 10 is where Paddy is, and I don't know that he has top 5 potential, but I think he has fun fight potential for forever.
See, I don't know. I'm done saying shit like that about Paddy. I really am, bro. I'll just wait and see. I'll wait and see. I'm done with the he's not the guy takes, and I've made a lot of them. This is me owning it. I've been saying it for years that Paddy's he's fun, but not championship material. Bro, Belal Muhammad just won a title. I feel better about Paddy at this stage of his career than I did about Belal at this stage of his career. I'm not willing to say that Paddy won't ever be champion. I'm not saying he will be champion. I'm saying that I'm done saying he won't be.
That's fair. I think. Man, I don't know, though. I just see a lot of holes in the striking defense for the most part that Bobby Green is not the guy that's going to exploit. But, yeah, I mean, I love Paddy. And what I noticed more than anything... Think of a world
where, Islam moves up, Gagey age out, Poirier ages out, or Gamrot, fumble a loss here, fumble a loss there, Sarukian pops for steroids or something. There's scenarios where, 3 years from now, Paddy finds himself in a title fight.
I actually like the Sarukian matchup for Paddy. I think any guy that isn't one-dimensional is a good matchup for Paddy because he's a pretty good mixed martial artist, much like Belal. He mixes his skill sets together very well. Whereas a lot of those guys, Fiziev, all striking. Islam, all grappling. You know what I mean? For the most part. Sarukian, pretty decent striker, pretty decent wrestler. I think he would try to put Paddy in a lot of different spaces, and we'd see Paddy have success. So, yeah, to your point, that is pretty much a top 5 guy.
Like I think he can go with those guys. Like who wins on any given night? But also, like I said, Patty might wait and age these guys out. He's only 29. But like I said, Poirier, Gagey, Oliveira, maybe even like Islam's probably going to move up a weight class eventually. Like all these guys are going to kind of like
Shift
remove
out.
themselves out of the picture.
Yeah, and
Michael Chandler.
to Patty's credit, whenever the stage has been the biggest for him, like the most hyped events he's had, he performs. Like he shows up.
One last Patty nut ride point, kind of just building on my last point. If MMA or UFC like was like draft classes like in football, like think about Patty's draft class, like other 29-year-old lightweights. I think it's guys like Ludovic Klein and probably guys like Oral By and guys like this, like Jalen Turner. Like I think of his draft class, like he's basically at the top.
Yeah,
Like all the guys ahead of him, I think are older and more credentialed, but
he is effectively like the youngest lightweight now that will be in the rankings, right? I mean, maybe not actually the youngest, but
I think he is though. He's younger than Saint Denis. He's younger than Moicano. Is he younger than Fiziev? I'm pretty sure he is.
they'd be close. They'd be
maybe
real
not
close.
Gamrot. Sarukian's young. Obviously.
No, Gamrot's like a month younger than me, so Patty would be younger than him.
That'd be like the same draft class, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah, he actually will, I think, be the youngest ranked lightweight. Which, to your point, like that's the best weapon to have is age. Whenever you already have the equivalent skill set.
Exactly, bro. Like I think a lot of this like log jam in front of it might just like sort itself out over the next like 24 months. And who knows what happens from there. But we can keep it pushing it. I'm actually really stoked to talk about this next fight. Like Christian Leroy Duncan and Gregory Rodrigues was a heater. And like I think we learned a lot. Like and I'll get a little hot takery here on the program. Fraud check for CLD, man. CLD was supposed to be the next great British middleweight striker, and he got exposed by a jiu-jitsu guy.
And to make it worse, on Anakin Florian Pod, they broke this fight down pretty in depth, and I was listening to it Saturday morning before the fights, and they talked about how this stylistically should have been a great matchup for CLD because Rodrigues as a striker moves in pretty straight lines, right? Kind of 90-degree angles whenever he's moving. Whereas CLD is a very open, fluid striker. And what we ended up seeing was Fraud Chick City, in my opinion.
Yeah, you know what I didn't like seeing from CLD was like how much he didn't like getting hit.
Right.
Now, obviously, who does? But he didn't play it off at all. Like and like elite level fighters, like guys that go on to be top 5, even if they're suffering, you can never tell. Like Islam in the Dustin fight was not having a good time, but you couldn't obviously tell. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Michael Chandler, Justin Gage.
Ortega's never had a good time in any of his title challenges, but, like, he just fights through that shit.
You're never going to see him hurt. And they'll hurt when they get home behind closed doors. You know
John Jones, great example of that.
Yeah.
Like, he fought Gustafson. Like, holy fuck.
CLD, bro, like, having a good time, and it was very apparent that, like, he was, like, not loving it, which... And then, like, Gregory Rodrigues is the opposite. We all remember his, like, all-time gnarly cut. Like, he's built for that life. Like,
Horsemeat loves a war.
Yeah, he loves a war, bro. He loves a war. This fight was awesome. No, like, cause when it first got announced that this was on the main card, I was kind of shocked. I was like, damn, they're showing RoboCop and CLD some love.
So,
and then, like,
bro, originally it was on the early prelims, and it got shifted all the way up to the main card.
Deservingly so, man. They put on a show. I gave RoboCop every round. Every judge did. I did as well.
Yeah. He was just better. Yeah. Just literally better. Like, I don't have any other way to say it than, like, he kind of beat CLD at everything they did. Like, I didn't find a lot of moments of success for CLD.
No. Yeah, outstruck him on the feet. Already got a takedown. He got one. Yeah, just good. No. All of these fights last night, I actually was able to slot people into their new power rankings pretty easily. This is the one where I struggled.
Did you move Sean Brady up?
I should have considered that. But that's actually a really good point. But I struggle to power rate Gregory Rodrigues because it's like it's so hard to like juxtapose. He has the Armin Petrosian loss, so it was obviously hard to jump him over a guy that beat him. It was a split decision. And then I was like, oh, well, I bet he's done a lot better since that fight than Petrosian, but like not really. They have
Right.
some common opponents, and like I like him more than Petrosian, but like it's hard to make an on paper argument that he should be skipped over Petrosian. It's like I have him sitting there at 30, which is respectable at middleweight. It's a underratedly deep division. But like there's guys above him that he could for sure beat. Like he could beat a Ruzboyev. He could beat a Paul Craig. He could beat a Andre Muniz.
Let me ask
He
you
could beat a
this.
Joe Piper maybe even. It's so hard to like.
Let me ask you this. Kopylov.
So I have Kopylov above him.
Me too. No, I think Kopylov cleans up both these guys. That's what my hot take might be. Is that what I've seen from Roman Kopylov lately. I think he beat CLD for sure, and I think him and Rodrigues is a good fight. But I still like Kopylov.
For sure, brother. And then like CLD, I didn't want to drop him too far. Like I dropped him below Kizraev, but like I had a hard time dropping him behind like Iron Turtle.
Yeah, especially after the pullout.
Exactly.
It's almost like you lose 5 spots just for pulling out.
And CLD is dynamic. Like he's athletic, he's dynamic.
Yeah, but
long.
this was a tailor-made matchup, and he fucked it off. Like that's what makes me lose so much confidence in him. Is like this was a guy that is better at grappling, but it will absolutely entertain your striking for as long as you want to do it with him, and he lost.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing like a CLD take on like a Chidi Njokuani or a Cesar Almeida, like a striker, basically.
Cesar
Maybe
Almeida would be
powerbomb.
very fun.
That'd be a fun fight. But yeah, that wraps up the CLD RoboCop breakdown. I think RoboCop impressed a lot of people. It's just like how, and also it's always so weird. RoboCop's like 32. I always think he's like 38. He looks so much older than
old
he is.
as fuck, bro. He looks so old. He looks like almost like Glover. You know what I mean? Like I always like see him and I'm like, God, he looked like Glover. Like he's 40 and it's like 32. Like damn near
But
my
also
own age.
like how it's just so hard to know what his ceiling is, bro. Like I think on any given night he can go with like most guys, but also he'll fumble a fight. Like he'll not show up some night.
Oh, I know it. It's like
It's just so hard
these
to
are
project.
hard guys to bet on. You know what I mean?
Yes, that's a good point, especially on our show. Yeah, for sure, brother. But yeah, we will get to it. And actually, and we had the main card openers here, some featherweights. This was a very important fight for the featherweight division because this is both guys that had a shit ton of steam and were maybe like a fight away from fighting for the title, then stubbed their toe, had a loss or two. Giga had a loss in some inactivities. Arnold Allen had losses, but both the top 5, like the toughest of the toughest opponents. And one of those losses was kind of a controversial decision. So it's like he didn't lose a ton of steam, but also, you know, you're not going to find yourself in a title fight. You got to fight the number 10 ranked guy. So, I mean, both of these guys' career arcs have been pretty similar.
Yeah, but you know what I find to be a very like discerning difference here, and why I was very confident in Allen. And honestly, I probably should have wrote a lot more units on Allen, even though I had him in every single parlay I had. Was that, dude? Even in his losses against like Max Holloway, for instance, looked good, and like Max has been looking better. So that loss, age is great, right?
Age is so good. Yep.
And then Arnold Allen's wins, I think, are like very stellar wins for the most part. Like he's looked good in those wins. Yeah, I mean, he's been on a little bit of a rough streak, but I like his losses even with them being losses. Now, that being said, for Chikadze, that loss to Cater, I am holding that against him because I think Cater kind of blueprinted how to beat him.
Yeah, it's aging very badly. And yeah, man, did you give Giga round 1?
Oh, let me check my scorecard here and make sure I'm not lying to you. I scored it. No, I scored it 10-9 Allen. Super close round. I thought Allen landed the harder strikes. I thought that Chikadze probably more consistent with the pressure, the volume, but I thought Arnold Allen was more impactful.
I like the Giga body kicks. I'm not gonna lie, especially because I know what a body kick from Giga like can do, and like probably like. So maybe I like overvalued the body kicks because it was coming from Giga. You know, it's like a left hook from Pereira. It's like you're going to score that because you know what it's capable of.
To be fair, no judge gave Arnold Allen the first round. I'm on an island, but
okay,
super close round, man. And like I said, I guess it all comes down to how much do you like a body kick, and knowing it's Giga, it does have to mean a little more. I just thought Arnold Allen was landing hard on the head whenever he was landing. And maybe I was. Maybe I was a little tipsy for the start of the main card, and I was just valuing that head hunting.
No, I feel you. Well, like rounds 2 and 3 are non-debatable at all. Allen just shaped around that ring basically because he was trying to avoid that kick side from Giga. So he was circling away from the power, which is smart, but he was still pressuring while he did it. So the whole fight was one big circle around the octagon. It was
like one big clockwise motion, right? Because he's just circling left the whole time, trying to avoid the liver kick.
Like it worked. I mean, every once in a while he would swing. He would swing his power hand first, and he would land.
Yeah, that was nice, by the way. Whenever he would swing the power hand, he'd swing the backhand to start the entry. It was very interesting. He is an impressive fighter, in all honesty, man. He's had some tough matchups, but I think Arnold Allen is, if you have elite tier for featherweights, he's right below it. He's in the A tier. He's not the elite tier, but he is in the A tier in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean he gets the decision win here over Giga, and I mean I have him at 8. I have him right behind Aljo. It's hard to jump him over Aljo. Aljo's accomplished so much in this sport, but that's not to say he'd lose to Aljo. I'd probably no bet that, if I'm being honest. If he fought Aljo, I'd probably no bet that.
Yeah, that's a fight I would just enjoy watching, if that makes sense. By the way, Montel Jackson slid into the rankings at bantamweight, which just wanted to shout us out for calling that out. 15? Yes, sir, yeah, but in bantamweight, might as well be fucking number 5 in heavyweight if you're number 15.
No, very, very, very true. So it's a deep division.
But to wrap up and to get back to, I'm sorry, on Arnold Allen, I think he's obviously better than Josh Emmett, and Emmett is so old he's got to be out soon.
Oh, for sure above Emmett.
I think Evloev, hard matchup for him. He already has the loss to him, I do believe.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to make a very similar point for Allen that I made about Paddy. If you look at this division, I mean, how many more fights is Yair going to do? How many more fights is Ortega going to do at this weight class or just in general? Yeah. Max Holloway seems to have 1 foot at lightweight. Volkanovski, older, fights at lightweight sometimes.
The thing is, Ilya is 29. He is young.
And Mavsar's young too. But Allen, Mavsar, and Ilya are that. That's that draft class. That's that.
And Diego Lopez is 30.
Lopez too. So that's that next generation. Even Aljo's no spring chick.
Which, by the way, to talk about what's next for Arnold Allen, bro, I'm kind of out on the Lopez Ortega fight just because I don't believe in Ortega to make that weight class anymore. I don't think he wants to. I don't think he's going to. So I'm so timid on that fight being able to happen that just give me Arnold Allen, Diego Lopez. I think it's a great fight.
You know who's made that exact same take? Dean Thomas on the post-fight show. He actually went further, bro. He put his nuts on the table and said Ortega's not fighting that night. You know how Chael be doing that? He did that with He pulled a Chael. He's like Ortega's not fighting Diego Lopez that night. It's going to be Arnold Allen. It's a great take. It's a very realistic, plausible scenario.
That's fire.
For sure. And that fight would be a heater.
That's what I'm saying. And for Diego Lopez, it's not number 3, it's number 6, but who cares? We know how dangerous you are. It's Arnold Allen. If you win that, you're still talking about, even if you beat Ortega, you're not talking about getting Topuria immediately after. You're probably still going to have to go through Holloway.
There's a large amount of people that in 2024 would value an Arnold Allen win more than an Ortega win, right?
Agree.
Those people exist. I might be one of those people.
I might be that guy too, especially after seeing how Ortega does not want to be at this weight class. I won't value him fighting in this weight class anymore. He doesn't want to be here.
Yeah. Why would you have optimistic projections for Ortega's future at featherweight? Now, if you want to say he'll go on a run at lightweight, sure, it's a different conversation. But his run at featherweight, making 145 in the calendar year 2024 and beyond that, why would you be optimistic about that? You'd honestly be a fool. But yeah, man, on that wraps up our UFC 304 main card breakdown, recap, and we do every single fight on every single card. So we're going to be back to talk about these prelims and the early prelims.
Yes, sir.
Stuff like that you can only get here on Beefy Boys Breakdown. You can check us out on X at Beefy Breakdown, on Instagram, Beefy Boys Breakdown, Facebook, Beefy Boys Breakdown. Hit that like button and hit subscribe. Thanks for watching, y'all.